I chirped in because he said everyone could see the manager was shocked. No one could see the manager because he was turned away or with his face on a whiteboard.
I'm not having Arteta. I've said this for ages. I'm just not having him.
Can you imagine the press conferences? Wow. Mourinho cooking that fraud. I would love it.
Roman Abramovich, last season, would have sacked him. No doubt.
That's insane.
Do you think there's a... Well...
He wouldn't have sacked a manager.
Oh, he 100% would.
People are obsessed with philosophy and I can't change it now, I can't change it now. You're getting beat a lot. Doesn't... You're not the...
At least he's in the Carabao Cup third round. That's
the real quiz.
That's a great achievement. We finish on Gary Neville.
Delighted to bring you the fan debate brought to you by Sky Bet here with the usual crowd and Scholesy as well. This is going to be a deadline special fan debate. So start with you, Scholesy. Have you got any breaking news for us on Salford?
You're laughing at? No, not yet. We've got a lad having a miracle in Manchester, I suppose. So we're just waiting for the other club to bring somebody in to replace him, and fingers crossed we can get that done today.
Okay. Just wanted to ask you over the weekend of football. One of the big things with certainly the first game of the weekend was VAR. I mean, where are you at with VAR right now?
Never liked it. Don't like it. I think for the offside, it's okay. Other than that, all this going back to find out if there's a foul 5 minutes ago and stuff, it drives me up the wall. Obviously, the Chelsea one with the Fulham game, so it's just never a foul, is it? And I did put something on Instagram, didn't I? Probably shouldn't have done.
I replied to it, didn't I?
Yeah, I had a few PE teachers messaging me as well, saying they knew it wasn't a foul. But that type of thing happens all the time. I think when you're in the game, you know it'd have happened to you, it'd have happened to me. It's just a good bit of skill. It's a little bit unlucky that he clashed into, but VAR as a whole, as I say, offsides I'm not too bothered about.
Especially with the new way of...
the new way, miles better, it's quicker, yeah. The rest of it, it's not for me.
No. OK, vote on VAR. Did you want VAR in? No.
Offside.
You want it out?
Yeah.
No, I'm president and co-founder of the Anti-VAR Society.
You just want it in?
No, I hate it.
You've got two wins, haven't you, the last two games?
It's been very beneficial to us, but I think it's genuinely ruining the game. I think you think about what you're in football for, like the point of going. If you'd like try and distill why you go to football, I think what you're effectively doing is chasing a buzz. You're a junkie, right? You're just chasing that buzz, a last-minute winner against Tottenham or whatever else. It ruins that. It takes that away from you. You can't quite commit to a celebration of a
That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing.
I think as well, like how many times now have they come out and apologised a couple of days after? They did it yesterday with the Fulham one at the weekend. It's like, how are you making these mistakes? If you know they are mistakes, like how does it keep happening? And what does that do for Fulham? It doesn't change anything for them. So it's just like, how do we keep making the same
From what it
mistakes
takes away, it takes away the joy, the euphoria, that spontaneous celebration, doing your shins on the seat in front, cuddling a stranger. It takes all that away from you and brings what? It gives you occasionally, maybe equalises a decision or whatever.
It was funny, when you're watching a replay of a goal now, so if you're watching the game on TV, you're not watching the goal. You're watching it. You think, what could be wrong? You're looking for a little offside, aren't you? Or if someone's fouled or a handball.
Do you know what I would always watch as well? When a goal would go in, particularly if it was scored in front of the away end, I always watch the away end. I like watching the celebration. I like watching that end erupt. It's now flat because everybody is slightly concerned about committing to the celebration. It really is taking so much away from the game. And, I mean, in terms of those binary things, did the ball cross the line? Of course use technology for that. But you know the stuff that's more fluid. You've got these little geeks in Stockley Park trying to tell like professional footballers how the game should be played. I think
They seem so far removed from reality as well. To call that a careless challenge when he's done them with a great bit of skill and to then rule that goal out, it's like, lads.
I just wanted the referee to show something there and go and look at the screen and go, no.
Yeah, you never do it.
It's a great chance for him to do that, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's a boys' different. Yeah. It feels like a boys' club. It really does. It's like the old school tie thing. Do you remember there was that comment? I think it was on one of the Sky shows where he literally said he didn't want to do it because it was his mate. Yeah. You're like, this is crazy. Like, and I think it's a major problem for the game. And you know when you hear people talk about the way that football's going, I heard John Terry recently speak about how he doesn't necessarily have an affinity with the game at the moment. I think it's things like this that are actually wearing people out.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
As two like ex-pros, would you say, I know there's been a lot of debate around should they have ex-pro involvement in the VAR booth to kind of give them some sort of guidance on, especially in the context of what happened on Saturday, like a careless challenge. Anybody knows, or anybody who's played football knows that's completely accidental. It's not careless. How would you feel about that?
I think I agree with you, because that situation at the weekend was a case of you felt like people who were deciding on it hadn't played football, because we all understand that sometimes that can happen. You land on someone or vice versa. I mean, you couldn't have a footballer there for everything, because we just don't know all the rules. None of us do, you know. But in terms of having somebody there who's actually sort of, you know, understands the game, there's no way, I think, if you were a player, you'd understand that situation and what happens, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like you said, I don't think you can do it properly, because the rules would be fucking stupid. Wouldn't you? You'd be sit reading books for I don't know how long. But I think just to have someone in the room with them as a bit of common sense for something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just to have a look over, say, no, happens all the time. It's just that simple type of thing, isn't it? But I suppose they are sticking to the laws of the game, which isn't always right, is it?
Well, let's get back to what we love, the football. Gareth, I'm going to start with you. The big game of the weekend. What do you make of it?
It was good, wasn't it? Well, it's certainly good how it ended anyway. I mean, that free kick was something special, and what Rory was just talking about, that buzz, that moment, that was a big one of them. And, you know, I was delighted to be on the cop with my son for this one, which doesn't happen too much. I might have to check on him, because I think I shook him up and down so much that he might be feeling the worse for wear today. But yeah, I thought the game itself, I was surprised by Arsenal, to be honest. You know, the way Liverpool have played so far this season, you can see you can get at them. You can see that, you know, we've changed after team essentially, and we've looked a little bit ropey at the back. So I thought if there's any time that Arsenal are going to come to Anfield and win, it's this game. And I was a little bit worried about it. And we were all talking in the pub before and saying, take a point from this, take a point. That's fine. After winning away at Newcastle, a point here is absolutely fine. And then they come and, you know, they've got all the big lads in midfield, and they sort of dominated midfield without then doing anything else, though. You know, where was the creativity? Where was the pressure? I never felt at any point we were going to lose the game. It just seemed we were sort of cancelling each other out. And I think the manager said, you know, you were waiting for a sort of a magic moment maybe to win it. And so Szoboszlai stepped up and done it, and what a goal that was. But yeah, I was surprised. And I'm not having Arteta. I've said this for ages. I'm just not having him. And I think the stuff he came out with afterwards as well, you know, that he was talking about Liverpool suffering. They had one shot on target. Where did Liverpool suffer? You know, at no point did I think these are a brilliant side and we're clinging on here. It was just a bit of a midfield battle. They didn't really sort of commit to anything further than that. And then eventually Liverpool won it.
I think it's interesting. I think I've asked you a question about Liverpool, and you automatically start talking about Arsenal. And the point I'm trying to make is, I think because of the situation Arsenal find themselves in, with Arteta being 5 years in and not winning a trophy, I think there'll be so many eyes and focus on Arsenal. And I think Arsenal fans, when I was looking on social media, feel a little bit hard done by after the game, in terms of the criticism, thinking, OK, you know, we lost to an amazing goal. There was nothing really in the game. But I think it's going to be like this every week for Arsenal, because it just feels like it's now or never. And it did feel like that opportunity was there for them, for the reasons that Gareth mentioned, you know, with Liverpool with a new team, looking a little bit vulnerable defensively. What were your thoughts, Scholesy, watching it?
It was when I first saw the team. When I saw Arsenal's team, I thought, yeah, they might control possession a bit, but it's not a team to go to Anfield and win. Do you know what I mean? They weren't going to go and put on a great performance, blow them away. They couldn't create chances. They just signed Eze, brilliant footballer, creative. Odegaard, the most creative player they've got. Now they bring a centre forward in for one of them players, because everyone's saying Odegaard's not great last year. He's not got a centre forward to pass to. So they bring the centre forward in and don't play Odegaard. It was just a little bit of a negative mindset, I thought. Now, I remember I had a go at Arsenal last year about when they went to City and celebrated the draw. I thought that was a different stage. I actually think going to Anfield and getting a draw this time would have been a good result. You'd take that all day long. I think the thing with City was City had about 6 or 7 players. It was towards the end of the season. This is start of the season. It's always a little bit different. And going there would have been a great point. And if they'd have come away with a 0-0, you said, yeah, great, brilliant, great result. But once they scored Liverpool, they had nothing else. You can't. It's very hard to switch from a mentality of going for a point. Then all of a sudden we've got a great chance and get after them. You just couldn't do it.
Gareth, I want to ask you, Liverpool have not been anywhere near the best in the first 3 games. We've got 9 points out of 9, and then go and sign Isak. I mean, what's your feeling on that? Do you think Liverpool is... I mean, are you expecting Liverpool to run away with this league title? Where do you think Isak fits in? I mean...
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but they're nice questions, aren't they? It's a nice problem to have. I mean, lots of people are saying, Ekitike and Isak, where do they get the minutes? How does it work? What's the system going to be? We've heard the manager say continuously that he wants versatile players. And I think already I've seen from Ekitike that he's comfortable getting the ball deeper. He's an upgrade on Nunes for that reason. He looks more of a team player, able to run from deep, carry the ball, all of that kind of stuff. And then you know what you're getting with Isak in terms of, I think the only people who've outscored him the last 2 seasons are Haaland and Salah. So, as I say, it's a nice problem to have, and Slot's talked about rotating more. I've said before on here that he relied on a core perhaps too much last season, and there were players that didn't get a sniff. Elliott was one, Chiesa was another one. He's now getting players in that you feel, as you're saying and hinting at, I think, you can't leave them out. You've got to give them minutes, you've got to keep them happy. But I think post-international break, we've got something like 6 games in 17 days, something like that. And that just shows you the schedule and how mad it is now with the extra games in the Champions League, etc. And I think he's probably looked at last season and thought, well, we did burn ourselves out a little bit. There's a couple of performances towards the end of the season before the title was wrapped up where you're a little bit like, you could have done with rotating here. So I think it's with that in mind. How it's all going to work, don't know. I mean, all the best Arna with that one, but like I say, it'll be exciting to see. Will it be a front 3? Will Ekitike be out to the left? There are loads of options, I kind of think he'll maybe set up depending on who we're up against. Plenty of teams just come to Anfield, Arsenal now included, who just sit there and try and play for a point. So you've got to break them down, you've got to win it, and we've now got all this attacking talent. There's still a worry the other end, and obviously as we're recording, we don't know if Liverpool are going to get gay or not. I'm praying we do, because still not quite convinced that we've got enough at the back. Thought Konate was a lot better against Arsenal. Thought Carragher was a lot better as well. But still...
I'm a little bit concerned about him, the left back.
Carragher, yeah. He was better yesterday, though, I thought. But the previous 2 games, I thought he looked a bit rash.
You remind me of, remember the left back you had a few years ago?
Moreno.
So, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's saying that.
he was a lot better yesterday, but he's too... I mean, coming from me, he's too aggressive. He just and that I'm hoping that'll come with maturity.
Goes to ground easy, doesn't he?
I hope that will come with having Andy Robertson there, who I'm sure will be helping him and will play games as well. But he feels like he's got to win every tackle, even every header. He feels like he's got to go for, and sometimes you just got to put the brakes on. But I'm hoping that'll come with, he's only 21. Will come with a little bit of maturity.
He didn't want to win the header at Newcastle last week.
No.
But I'm seeing him go for headers on the halfway line where he's like, it's just
stupid.
You're going to go into the back of someone and give a foul away. But
I worry a little bit about his pace. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah.
Did you see the bit when Madueke went down? I thought, oh, his legs have gone there.
Yeah.
But he did manage to get back. Yeah. I think Robertson will play a lot of games.
No, I do. I just want to ask you about Isak in that no supporter in here likes it when a player at their club carries on the way Isak has done at Newcastle. What's your feeling as a Liverpool fan when a player then comes into your club like that?
Yeah, I don't like it either. And I think, football makes a hypocrite of everyone at some point. And when Sterling behaved in a similar way at Liverpool, I didn't like that. When Coutinho had a back injury at Liverpool, I wasn't really into that. So, no, I don't like it, but it's the direction of travel of football. It's where it's gone. It seems to be an accepted way now to get yourself out of a contract and get yourself to a club you want to go to. I don't like it. I don't necessarily think it means anything else, though. I see a lot of people projecting, saying he will now do this to Liverpool if Real Madrid come calling or whatever.
That's my question, Gareth.
That's just
are you not worried about, like you were saying before, the rotation? Are you not worried that if you don't give Isak enough playing time, he is going to throw his dummies out the pram again?
Well, it feels like, I'm sure you know as well, we've obviously been speaking to him one way or another for a long time, including, you would guess, the manager. And so I'm sure some kind of plan has been put in front of him about how much game time he'll get, how it will work, where he'll expect them to play. So I'd be very surprised if he's, you know, throwing things out the pram.
Speaking of hypocrisy, mate, 450 million. Because as much as, you know...
What, you mean the 300 million we got back in from selling players?
Well, City have sold a lot of players over the years, and all I've ever heard on air and other you know, shows and stuff is how
We haven't got dodgy sponsorship, though.
Well, here we go. That's the line. That's the line we get every time. 1-0. It's the same cackles of laughter because at the end of the day, City have given everyone here torture for 4 or 5 years. You know, winning the league every year, and it's the same cheap digs at. Again, there you go with the canned laughter. The thing is, City, the same thing every year. City have spent if they've spent that. In the last 6 windows, we haven't spent as much as you've had in this one. So, and we've sold a lot of players. Alvarez, 80 million. Cole Palmer, Liam Delap. There's been a lot of sales for City.
That's why you shite.
Well, we'll see, won't we? This season, there's a long season ahead.
Gio, I want to ask you. You've just asked him. Are you worried about Isak doing what he done to Newcastle? Are you worried Whistle to you or Brentford?
Yes, no, legit. I am. I personally. I'm happy to get someone who's tried and tested in the Premier League. He's going to do a job for it, but I am very much worried that what happens in 2 years' time when we're not giving him enough game time, he maybe loses favour. What happens when he does the same thing here? I am worried. We've just got rid of one situation now, which, good luck to you, honestly. I think you should hit the ground running, but I'm annoyed.
Are you of the opinion now you're glad he's actually going to get him out?
I am. Regardless of it being less than what I would have wanted to see as a fee, what Premier League club and what club in the world is going to turn down £130 million, you know, Premier League record? It down? No, I haven't. No,
you did?
I wouldn't. No, I've said 150 million I wanted, which is what I've just said there.
But, but that's why it's a disaster, isn't it? Because they could have sold him for 130 in June.
But we didn't want to. We didn't have replacements there, and we wanted to try and resolve the situation internally.
But now you've sold him it's a disaster. You've sold him on the last day of the window for the same amount of money that you could have got 2 months ago. With no opportunity to bring someone else in. If you'd done this all 2 months ago, maybe you go and sign João Pedro.
Well,
maybe
but they've got the 2 players in, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but not to the level that.
They're also big overpays.
How are you going to get to the level?
That does. We've been hard, without doubt. And this is
we're going to get the level of Isak, was you?
What annoys me about the Isak situation is when you look at it, he's caused more troubles for the club than what's realised. Like, we've had very, very, very big difficult situation trying to bring someone in. We've overpaid for Vissa. We've overpaid for Valtemade. Like, it's just simple as that. And it's a hard situation to be in. I think any fan would hate to be in the situation that Newcastle's been left in right now. But look, we've got strikers over the board, and I think one thing that is very, very noticeable is the one thing Newcastle have been missing in the last few performances is finishing power. We've had plenty service, Leeds game, not so much. We've had plenty service in the previous 2 games, and I think the only reason we performed so well against yourselves is because of the whole heated debate that's been going on this summer. We've had the passion. We're a team who, when we've got something to fight for like that, will come out swinging, and that needs to start happening every game.
Have the club not caused the issue for themselves, though, by promising him a move and then
realistically,
on it? Like, is that not an issue?
Who actually genuinely knows what's going on behind closed doors? Because there's been fingers pointing at each side, really. For me, that's why I'm in the situation now where I'm just like, do you know what? It's done. It's over. Let's just get on with the season now. We've got strikers in who are going to take the service that they can, and they're going to finish, and they're going to put goals in. And yes, fair enough, we're saying Isak go, and he's going to a rival. It's not great, but it is what it is. Well, any team in Premier League's a rival, aren't they? Realistically, you don't want to sell your star striker to absolutely anyone in the Premier League. You want them to go abroad, and I'm pretty certain any team would agree with that. You want them to go abroad. You don't want them to stay in the whole place.
Scholes, I want to ask you about player power. We were both obviously never involved in a transfer. You know, when you see situations like this, what is your feeling around it?
I don't really think there's a right way and a wrong way about it. Well, there is really, because you'd say Isak and Vissa have done it the wrong way, but they've still got what they wanted. Now, Mark Gay is a great example of doing it what you'd say is the right way. He's playing, he's training, he's doing everything right, and he might get his move to the. I don't know. So it's you don't like it, of course you don't. It's wrong. I think it's unprofessional. You've got you with a club who are paying your wages every week. You should be training every day. You should be playing for him. You should be helping him the first 3 games of the season. And then, exactly as Mark Gay has done. But then you can see it from players' points of view as well, because they want the move. Yeah. And if they think that, like I said before, the other club, so Liverpool would have been putting pressure on Isak, say, right, we bid this amount of money, we think it's a brilliant amount of money for you. Now you've got to go in and try and kick off a little bit. Now, you can say no to that, but if you're desperate for that move, you do it.
I think I was probably the same as you. The clubs were good to us, weren't we? We always felt that. So whenever I get asked about these situations, I'm almost for the club a lot. And I think of myself from a Liverpool point of view. But then, because we've never been involved in that, and I looked at sort of Jackson with Chelsea, and I thought, imagine being Jackson there. Where I think, is it right that they didn't ostracise him, but they didn't put him in the squad or on the bench because they almost said, they want him to move on.
Yeah, they wanted him to go to Bayern.
Yeah, and then the lad gets injured. He's got this move. I mean, what a move for him to go and play for Bayern Munich. Brilliant move for the lad. And then at that last minute, because someone gets a hamstring injury, they come like, no, you're doing that. Now, they wouldn't play him or even use him in the first 2 weeks. I thought, imagine if I was in that position. That's where I'd be thinking, so it can't... The club at times... use their power and use the supporters.
What do you think about Kane? If you take this back, so Alexander Isak has really agitated for a move. He hasn't necessarily treated the club with the respect that they deserve. And ultimately, he's got his move. He's now going to join the most exciting sporting project in world football at Liverpool. He's going to play for the champions, and we'll see what he ends up with at the end of that. Presumably, league titles and European Cups. Harry Kane, we're all quite snide about him. He stayed at Tottenham. He didn't force his way out of a deal. History's written by the winners, isn't it? If Kane had forced his way out, he would have potentially joined Pep Guardiola's team, won himself a treble, scored 1 billion goals like Haaland, and he'd have all of the medals to prove it. Ultimately, if you look at Kane staying and Isak agitating, who's done the right thing? I'm inclined to say that Isak has done the right thing, and Kane scoring 100 goals or 1 billion goals for Tottenham, that none of them counted for anything, was actually a waste of time.
Going back to Jamie's point about the club as well. Sorry, mate.
That's right.
You look at Man United now, Adam, with 4 or 5 players. They say, no, we don't want them. Get them out. They've stopped them from training with the first team. They've stopped them from going to the training ground at the same time. It's just the same, but from the other side of it, really. And I don't see... There's not much uproar about that, is there?
Whatever the game, you'll find it here on The Overlap.
I'm heavier than you think, by the way.
Why have they got leaf blowers?
That is him.
What were you being called?
Big Fred.
I was playing a charity game at the weekend and Marlon Harewood absolutely smashed us.
And what was the game like? Was it...
You just said 4-3-3 before that.
Ça va? Hello. We're going to start Andrew on 2.5. Can't wait.
I've waited 18 years to sit there.
It's Nicky Butt, Teddy Sheringham, Roy Keane, hang gliding over Hotel Pool.
Arsene Wenger saw that I was talking to Lionel Messi. Theo, why did you not push him down the stairs?
Simon, I want to bring you in. I know we started with Gareth. We've gone down a little rabbit hole there about the game on Sunday. I mean, I was quite critical of Arsenal after the game, and I understand there was no difference between the teams. It was a wonder goal, I get that. But I feel in the first 3 games of the season, and I know it's a small sample size, that nothing's changed with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta about how they're going to try and win the Premier League. And you can still win the Premier League playing that way, but it feels heavily reliant on set pieces still, being really strong defensively, having the biggest team you can possibly put on the pitch. I mean, do you think Arteta has to change that or alter that if you are going to win the league?
I think if you had said that to me last week after the Leeds game, I probably would have pushed back a little bit more. I was at that game, Eze gets announced beforehand, go out there, you smash Leeds, we're all like, here we go. If you'd asked me this at half-time yesterday, I also would have pushed back, because our record at Anfield is terrible. We've got 8 losses and 12 draws in 13 games or whatever. So to go there and say, we're not a pushover, because Arsenal have been pushover in the past.
What was that, 12 what?
18?
Yeah,
that's
20.
What did I say?
You're the biggest man in the room. I think you're...
No, sorry.
We've had a few chairs.
I didn't know what I said.
Like Harold Vorderman.
8 losses, 5 draws. That's what I meant to say. Oh, no. So that's, ultimately, it's... Sorry, 8 losses, whatever it is. We haven't done well at Anfield. This is why you don't wrestle. You get hit in the head too much. That's right, yeah. So at half-time would have been like, great. We went to Anfield and we proved to them you can't mess us around. I thought we were the better team and we were talking marginal gains here. I was like, awesome. Now, let's do what I thought we did in the summer, bring on our creativity, we'll go out there, we'll push them back. We saw what Palace had done, we saw what Newcastle had done, and Bournemouth did it as well, right? Just go at them, go at them. I thought Eze was going to come on. I thought it was mad that Eze didn't start. Like, if you're going to Anfield, where your record sucks anyway, let him be the dude to score a goal and turn it around, and then think how big his confidence is going to be, and Arsenal fans are going to be going crazy.
But does that sum the manager's mentality up? And again, I'm a massive fan of Mikel Arteta. I think he's done a really good job, but we are at the time where he has to deliver. When I saw that team sheet come in, I knew how that game was going to play out. It was Moreno with set pieces. He wants to stop Liverpool. He'll work defensively, make it really difficult. And you're right, they did. Liverpool couldn't play through. They couldn't get any passing going. Because Arsenal, for me, defensively, you know what Arsenal remind me of? The Liverpool teams I played in under Benitez and Houllier, where we were a nightmare to play against. I think you'd say that Scholes at times, you know, in one-off games, you know, tough to play against. But it always felt, and Gareth will know this as well as me, that both managers at times, you felt they got the handbrake on a little bit. And it still feels like that with Arteta, and I don't think it's ever going to change. And that team sheet before the ball was kicked told me everything.
So it's hard because I hate when people say this in football, so I'm being a hypocrite. But if we had walked away with a point, I think the conversation changes because, again, record sucks, let's get a point. We lost Saka. I don't mind that Odegaard didn't start because I think he did. I saw him go down at the Emirates the week before. I think he really did take a bad knock to his shoulder. So maybe there's something there. I didn't see many reports. But I think it's such a dumb thing to say because we didn't walk away with a point. But I think because we're bad there, if we get a point, I'm like, OK, cool. We can be defensive we want to be. And I think we've got Forest next. If we go there and we play more creative, I'm like, all right. The issue we've got at the moment is United game wasn't great, but we won, so fine. Leeds game was really fun all the way around. But now we've had another game where there's not much I think the problem is, and I had a big chat with a lot of Arsenal fans about this, what did we mostly do in the window? We bought creative players. Like halfway through the second half yesterday, I was like, we're going to be creative, guys. Like just a little bit of creativity would be great. I don't think I can make that call three games in, just because I love him. For 270 million spend total, let's say we get to the end of the season and we don't win a trophy. What again, because you're more neutral than I be, what do you think happens to Arteta? Does he stay? Does he go? I mean, does he have to win something this year?
Yeah, Scholes.
Well, no. Do you know that's a fair point. You know what I mean, though? You know what I mean?
I think we all agree that what he's done, he has turned the club round.
Yeah, for
I think he's done a great job to get them where they are now. He's just got, is he capable of taking them that next level over the line? We said this about Gareth Southgate, didn't we? He did brilliant with England, got him to the finals, but he didn't think he was capable of them actually going and winning it. And I think Arteta's coming into that a little bit. I'm trying to think of a statement win he's had, you know, in a Premier League. I think going to Liverpool yesterday, and I always think in the first few weeks of the season, I think there's always a statement win from a team, and you think they're going to win the league. And I thought that with Liverpool at Manchester United last year, and probably United's not probably.
Yeah, but it's a big game.
It's a big game. It's still a big game for everyone to go there. Even the way they won at Manchester United, it wasn't convincing, was it?
Yeah.
And I just don't think they're quite right, that they're quite ready. And I don't think the manager... You know, when you think about it, third game of the season, it's a free hit, really, isn't it? To go there and give it a right go, say, look, we're ready, we can play, we can get against this team, as Liverpool have shown, the defensive, they've not been great so far. So it's a great chance to play your new players, bring them in, you think, bang, go to Liverpool.
That's why I didn't mind the first half. Because you remember the Anfield game last year when we were 2-0 down at half-time and looked like the worst team to ever have played in the Premier League. So that's what I thought the mentality was. First half, you can't get at us this time. Then second half, that's what I thought we were going to get. Let's go, free-flowing football. Let's bring on Eze at half-time.
It's never going to happen with a team. As Jamie said, when you saw that team, you thought...
Mourinho was not the best.
0-0. It has to be 0-0.
It was obvious the plan. I said before the game, it was get to 70 minutes at 0-0 and we've got a stronger bench than Liverpool. Now, obviously, that's going to change in a few weeks. Obviously, Isak's there, maybe Gay comes into Liverpool. But Liverpool right now have won games from the bench But we know as Liverpool supporters, the bench isn't the strongest. You bring in Chiesa, you've got a young 17-year-old kid. So when I actually saw Arsenal bench and the team they picked, that was the plan. Get to 70 minutes 0-0. But why is the mentality to get to 70 minutes at 0-0 when you come up against the Liverpool team? Yes, we know the champions, we know it's Anfield, but you know Liverpool are not at the races in the first 3 games of the season, including the Community Shield as well. They've got a lot of new players that they've spent money on, but it's not quite right. Even yesterday, there's still things that, it's not quite. But Liverpool will get there at some stage. I just think that was a massive opportunity for Arsenal. And it's not about that game. It's the bigger picture. The Man United game, you didn't have Odegaard and Saka played in that game, but it was still the same.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think the team is set up, or there's the mentality thing, we're going to create chances. We've got the best defence in the league, and you have by a long way. We're going to keep a clean sheet, and we're going to score a goal from a set piece, and that will get you really far. But it's whether it will get you across the line, and that would be my big worry as an Arsenal fan.
What I will say, to defend them a little bit, is that, Gyökeres is new, Zubimendi is new, Madueke is new, Eze is new. So I think we have to give them some time to see if we are going to start heading more in that direction. Like, if we give Liverpool the same kind of respect to say, you got new players, how they're going to fit into the system, I'd like to do the same for Arsenal. I just think yesterday, the reason it feels, it's the biggest game of the season so far, it's the 2 title contenders. But I think a lot of Arsenal fans have seen what Liverpool's defence was like. And just, even if it's for 10 minutes, just see if, and we didn't push them at all, that's the issue. But I don't think we'll get to 10 games in the season and you won't see Eze with the creative balls and Odegaard doing the same thing. And listen, Gyökeres had no service yesterday. What I've learned about Gyökeres is he is the player I wanted him to be. He'll stand there, give him the ball, we'll put it in there, or at least he'll try. He had nothing. So he's not going to drop back and start playing into the channels, etc. Even the goal he scored against Leeds was essentially, he took the ball and went, screw this, I'm going to cut in and score. So I would like to give it towards more November-ish. Listen, once again, I understand. People watch this go, of course he's saying that, he's an Arsenal fan. But I think once all the, it's true, once all the players settle in, if we have this conversation sort of like early November and we're still doing that, I'm up. Rude words creak, right? There's nothing that I can say. But I think let them settle in, give them time. Yeah, it's a family show, right? So that's my big thing.
See, what you're saying there, though, it sums Arsenal up a little bit. So you're saying in a few weeks we'll have Eze, we'll have Odegaard. We won't be playing against better teams, but we'll start playing brilliant football. You've got to do that against the better.
No, but I want to make sure I do agree with you on that. But I just think it's listen, of course I'm going to sort of try and find ways to be positive about it. But I think just because there's sort of 4 or 5 new players in there, I do want to give them time to settle in.
Adam, I want to come to you. Manchester United get the last-minute win at home to Burnley. Are Man United back?
Might be. Mate, it's been a horrible start to the season. I remember after that Grimsby game, just feeling like it was the end of the world.
It looked like it on your Instagram.
I'm old enough to. I'd had a rough night out the night before as well. But I'm old enough to remember York City and Zalagazeg and crazy results like that. But that felt like you could see how shocked the manager was. I think. From the league games, I think he went, all right, against Arsenal, we probably should have got a positive result.
I couldn't see how shot the manager.
How about you let me finish?
He wasn't faced. Jesus
Christ.
No one could see the manager.
Everyone can talk about their teams, yeah? As soon as Man United come up, like, everyone wants to...
I want him more from you.
You'll be lowest in the league, by the way.
I want him more from you. Yeah, I'll speak if you want. At the end of the day, I chirped in because he said everyone could see the manager was shocked. No one could see the manager because he was turned away or with his face on a whiteboard. Yeah, no one could see the manager, mate. No one could see the manager.
Because you wanted to have watched that if you were United.
I'd want to watch that 15 times over what I watch every week at the moment. But yeah, that Adam said it was embarrassing. It was the best night ever. So I'll speak for everyone else.
Adam, come on.
Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just shocked. Like I say, I think you looked at the Arsenal game, you looked at the Fulham game. I think against Fulham we should have been 3-0 up at half-time and then you go and throw it away. And I think he was probably thinking, right, someone's going to get a slapping and it's going to be Grimsby. And then we're 2-0 down, like really quick. Andre Onana's chucking it in the net and you're like, what's happening? I think he thought he lost them and everything. And I like someone being emotional, but when you're Manchester United manager, you probably have to tone it down a little bit and, hold your head a little bit. And he obviously came out after the day after, like, sometimes I'm going to love my players, sometimes I'm going to hate them. And I was like, he's just like me, but please don't say that out loud. So I think if you take away the Grimsby game, which you can't because it happened, I think the performances in the league have shown an improvement, but they're showing we're not scoring goals and we're not keeping them out. And you have to sort that goalkeeper situation out. And if this Lemon fella's any good, then we might be all right.
Adam, you just mentioned about the comments that the manager made. He said, my players spoke really loud. I sometimes hate my players. I mean, what are you thinking when you're a Man United fan? You tune into Sky Sports News and the interviews are coming in. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a resignation speech, to be honest. There was a little bit of me that, because like I say, maybe he's probably one of those guys that gets into trouble with the missus and he talks his way out of it very quickly. And I think he's a sweet talker and I'm kind of going with it sometimes. And I was like, just show me a little bit of something, show me a little bit of fight. And it felt like a resignation speech. I was like, we'll get to Burnley, beat Burnley, probably not. And then he'll probably be gone. And I do worry, like, it's clear that he's under huge amounts of pressure and he can feel it. Maybe for some fans like myself who kind of went into the campaign thinking, I've wiped the slate clean from last season, but there's still a hangover from that and he's feeling the pressure. And we've got some big games coming up. And it does worry me that we could get to the next international break and still be like, oh, could this be the international break where he goes? We've got City coming up. We've got Chelsea coming up. So I was shocked to see that happening so soon into the season, 3 games in. It was alarming.
Scholes, I want to ask you about your thoughts on the manager in terms of his press conferences. When you switch him on and he's on the TV, are you sat there thinking, oh, God, what's he going to come out with now? Or do you actually enjoy and think he's charismatic, he's bringing something to the Premier League?
Yeah, I quite like him. Look, he is very honest, but you can be too honest, as Adam says. He's saying what every manager probably thinks. At some point, you're like, I'll hate him. I don't like him. That's just the way you are about. I want to leave. I'll have to get out of this. The pressure's too much. But I don't think you say that out loud. I think there's so many experienced managers now in the Premier League who will be thinking that, and I've thought that, but they won't say it. The worst comment for me was after the Grimsby game, the one where he said the players spoke out loud. I thought that was a little bit damning for him.
What did you think he meant by that?
That they don't want to play for him.
I actually thought they spoke really loud with their performance, as in, like, they're not good enough. I thought he was having a dig at Mainu, if I'm being honest, because there was a lot of talk going into that game that Mainu could be going, he's not using him, he's cover for Fernandes. And Mainu did have a poor game in the game. And it was interesting what he said. I suppose you could take it lots of different ways, couldn't you, how he spoke?
That Mainu thing for me as well was a thing where I've kind of gone, again, I've been fully behind him the whole time, and that was just like, if you can't see the values of Kobbie Mainoo in the team and you can't get the best out of him, then you're probably not the guy for us. And I think for a club like Manchester United, if we were to let him go, I think it just represents like just a complete change of the club that I know. Like, those are the players that you're supposed to be building the team around. And this isn't like, people like to go, you're trying to treat a player bigger than the club. That's not the case at all. Kobbie Mainoo is clearly a massive talent who should be in the team. And if you need to get a midfield that's working, I don't think Ugarte is it. I don't think Bruno is going to be it necessarily. Try and get him working in the midfield because he's just so good. And it did bother me that where I think I mentioned that if Kobbie Mainoo goes, I think I'm done with them. Like, that's the end for me. I'm just over with it because he's too good to be letting go like that.
I think just going back to, and I agree with you with Mainoo, but I think going back to his comments, there's now a big clamour, isn't he, to get Jose back. Jose's lost his job in Turkey.
At United?
No. In terms of English football.
Thank God for that.
And but the reason being is because he's box office and he comes out with stuff. But he was a winner.
Yeah.
We always remember Brian Clough. The stuff, you know, when I was a kid, Brian Clough speaking, you'd listen, you'd hear, because he was a winner. The problem at the moment, Amarin, he's great in the press conferences, but because he's not winning, and it's like, oh, shut up, stop speaking, you keep your mouth shut. If he was winning, we'd all go, this fella, what a character, what a personality. Yeah. You know, that's you know, the top and bottom of it, about the way he speaks. Because I actually look at it and think, if he wasn't so charismatic in the press conference, he wasn't such a good-looking man, he might have actually lost his job a lot earlier.
If he was a bit like David Moyes,
when you look at the results, horrendous.
The results are horrendous, and I think that's where the pressure's coming from for him. And you can just feel it building. And like I said, I think that Grimsby performance more than a result, because those results can happen. I think the performance was something where he went, oh God, like this is a lot worse than I thought.
Sorry, Adam. We see them Grimsby. Look, I'm not excusing players or the team, but them games are difficult when a lot of players come. I've seen it when we were playing. Them players probably haven't played a full game this season for 5 weeks, and they go there, they're expected to be all of a sudden bang switch on. Mainu's a player that needs to be playing. He needs to be playing every week. If you see, we had players, people like Wayne Rooney, if they don't play for the games, they're a bag of shit. Do you know what I mean? Because honestly, they are, because they're not ready.
Here's the headline.
Oh, honestly, and then you've got Kobe Mainu and other players in and around that, and they're expected to go in and perform straight away. No, it's against Grimsby, and Grimsby were great, by the way. I was more worried about Grimsby because they're in Salford's league, to be honest with you. They need to be playing games, and I think he came on Saturday was a lot better. Now, we talk about recruitment, don't we? It comes up a lot and it gets on your nerves, doesn't it? But they haven't addressed the areas which needed addressing. Well, not most, because they brought the 3 centre forwards in, and more goals were needed.
I think Mbumo's looked good, to be fair.
Well, yeah, he's been the best one so far because he scored a couple of goals. The other ones haven't really got going yet. Sesko, I don't know what's quite happening with that. But he needed to address the midfield. The midfield, the legs were never in there. The goalkeeper was a massive one. Now, I think he's got 4 or 5 midfield players in there, and he wants to play 2 of them. He can't get it right. He can't get the combination right.
I don't think
Ugart, Mainu don't like. Casemiro, Mainu don't like. Casemiro Fernandes is the one he seems to be going for a lot, but that isn't going to win you a Premier League.
But it's weird because in pre-season he worked with Ugarte and Mainu, and then the season starts and it's Bruno and Casemiro. It was like, wait, what?
Look, he doesn't like Ugarte.
Absolutely. We should have known from the West Ham game.
And Ugarte, don't like him either.
Do you think? Listen, Manchester United, we know right now, are obviously a long way from winning the Premier League, but do you think the manager's setup and his style, do you think that can win the Premier League? No. We're talking about his system. There's a lot made about that.
He's struggling to win games at the minute rather than win a Premier League. I'm struggling to find...
Or do you think that this way of playing can prove successful for this manager?
Well, I think if you look at the games that look, again, results are the most important thing. And without points, this manager's going to be, close to being sacked if we don't turn this thing around very quickly. But the performances in and of themselves, like against Arsenal, we were the better team and we did look a lot better. And it wasn't like, oh God, that's the United from last season. That was one of the things I disagreed with Gary Neville. I think he made a comment of like, oh, it reminded me of last season. I don't think any performance has.
You mean the Fulham
I think the Fulham one, yeah. And then I thought Fulham, we should have been 2-3-0 up at half time, and there was a little bit of.
We can't keep saying this.
No, I know you can't, but there has been that. And against Burnley as well, finish your chances. We're 3-4-0 up, and you're going.
I agree with you, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
This system, the system, it's all systems, and it is alien to everyone really. I think, especially in English football. I don't remember seeing it. It's very simple 4-3-3, 4-4-2. People do play 3 at the back. And I've said it since he started. Man United, for some reason, 3 at the back is just not. It's not them. I don't know what it is. As I said, I remember our manager tried it. Sir Alex.
You haven't got wingers, have you? That's what the club is famous for, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't got them wide players who can attack, can entertain. We're playing wing backs who. Diallo's he's a wing back, isn't he? Sorry, he's a winger.
It's been really poor this season as well, and you're thinking, is that because of the change in position? He was one of our best players last season. But I do also think as well, and thankfully it seems we're making a signing at the moment. I posted it after the Arsenal game, like these keepers will cost this manager. They're both useless.
Reason, I don't know if it is a system or what, but they have little spells of looking really good, exciting. And then have spells which are so.
And then someone has a shot and the keeper lets it in.
But I think a lot of it will come, all the time, yeah. I think a lot of good teams at the midfield sorted, don't they? There's too much indecision in the midfield area. You think of Casemiro. Look, Casemiro's been a brilliant player, but we know his deficiencies, don't we? Fernandes, they're the 2 he's going with. Now, Fernandes to me, he's someone who fills into midfield. I mean, he might get away with it 1, 2, 3 games
He's not a
possibly.
central. You know that better than anyone.
He's not got the discipline to be a central.
For the balance of the team, I probably would have took the 100 mil. It's like, I love Bruno Fernandes, and I've got not a bad word to say about him. I think he's been incredible for us. But when you look at the team and the shape, we brought in Cunha and Mbeumo, who also play in his best positions. You go, we need balance in that midfield. We finished 15th with him.
Adam,
you know, like, take the 100 mil and
bringing
sort the team
two
for the
number
future.
10s in, was that really necessary? You think you've got your Mason Mount, you've got your Kobe Miner who can do that.
That's what it feels like. Maybe they thought Bruno
but
was off.
if you've done that and wasted a bit of money and not been able to get a midfield player or a goalkeeper, it's not great recruitment-wise, is it? Just having the sense of getting that forward line, bringing 3 forwards in the end, but I can't make better what a lot of the problems are in the team, which is 2 central midfield players and the goalkeeper's massive. They could never do anything defensively anyway because they've got lads on 3, 4, 5-year contracts.
Is it difficult because there's actually so much to fix? You can't fix all that in one window. You've got to...
Yeah, I agree, and it looks like he has tried to fix the forward line. There's signs of it working, but still we've got to see the lads score goals.
Survive with these 2 keepers for this season, and then the season started. You know,
Oh, absolutely not.
I can't.
He's got to start there.
Lemon or what?
Lemons.
I don't know. I don't got a clue who he is. I hope he's good.
Have you actually signed him?
So no Martinez then?
Yeah.
No, it's not Martinez.
Well, listen, I just wanted to have a little vote here. I mean, how many of us in this room think Ruben Amorim will be manager of Manchester United next season?
Oh, the last of the season or next season?
Not last season, 'cause I think he was the manager last season.
I think he'll make it all the way to the summer.
Do you think when we're doing this show in 12 months, the first show of the season, 2 or 3 games in, he'll be the manager of Manchester United?
No chance.
Jamie, it feels so over.
Does anyone think he will be? Yeah. Put the hands up.
Yeah, I think I do.
I'd like him to be.
It's so over.
Sure.
So would I.
It's so obviously over.
He's so finished. Yeah.
Like, you've got the 2 better players last year, Fernandes, Diallo, both playing out of position, both struggling. Like, when you listen to Paul speak and you listen to Adam speak, you can tell that there's a yearning for it to work out. But you know when you don't really have a dog in the fight? It's like, he's clearly not the man for the job. It's so clearly over. There's a load of players in the squad that almost have to be redefined to be accommodated in his system. And this almost dogmatic approach to his system, the system, it's like, mate, just win some games. Like, change the system, accommodate the players. And if you can't do that, then you're not fit for purpose.
It's interesting in terms of changing the system, because I've always been, I don't blame him because for the system. I blame the guy who brought him in. For a guy to bring him in and play that system at a club like Manchester United, I don't think is right in terms of, you know, the history of wingers and attack and play. You know, we're seeing Crystal Palace use this system and do it quite well. But for me, when I think of teams who play this system, and the one outlier is Chelsea under Conte, more often it's teams in the middle of a table or near the bottom who are trying to make it difficult for the opposition. It's not about winning games. Now, I think with Amorim, he's played this system and he's been one of the best teams in Portugal. So you're constantly on the ball. You're not getting asked as many questions defensively. So Manchester United right now, let's say that a team in the middle of the table, you know, quality-wise. So they get asked questions defensively. At this moment, the manager can't ask. It's too easy to play against. You know, that's my thing. But he's never going to change. So when we keep saying change, and I do think Manchester United have the players to play 4-3-3 more, you're asking a manager who doesn't believe in something to do. That's his thing. The guy who brought him in, it's his fault for bringing him in. You knew what he was going to do when he come in, and you wanted what he did at Sporting Lisbon to do here at Manchester United. So and for me, I'm with Rory in that. I don't see him there next year. I think it'll be really difficult to turn.
He'll be gone back.
If you think about it though, Jamie, they've done that 3 times, haven't they?
Worst managerial record of
Van Gaal. You think of Van Gaal? Wasn't suited.
Do you hear what he said?
Mourinho, what did he say?
Worst managerial record than Gary Neville.
I'm not laughing at Gary on this, but I always like the way every manager's judged against Gary. Andy, any manager, I mean, even Gary Neville got a better record than him, yeah. Sorry, Scholesy.
Oh, what was I saying? I can't remember.
Should we finish on Gary Neville?
I also think with the system thing that we all talk about and it won't change, is not changing. We have some very clever managers and coaches now. So they know exactly every week what you're coming up against, and they'll work a way around it. You think I don't know if this happened in Liverpool, just but it always happened in our dressing room. When the team sheet comes under the door, the manager's doing his team talk. You look at it, right? What they're going to do? Yeah. What they're going to do? You don't have to do that with Man United.
Yeah.
We know exactly what you do. We know how to break you down. These managers are clever. So, and people are obsessed with philosophy and I can't change it now. I can't change it now. You're getting beat a lot. You've got to change something, and maybe that will come with that.
He said something in the press conference the other day. 'Cause he is great. The press conference. He gives you information. He said, "I'm going to almost nail this system down so the players can play it with their eyes closed." I think he said, and then we'll start to change. I don't think he'll get the time. To do that if he doesn't start getting results. And another point I'd make on him, he's still a very young manager. Yeah. What he did at Sporting Lisbon, we shouldn't write off. That was a brilliant achievement when you think of Benfica and Porto in that league. To sort of win the league a couple of times at Sporting Lisbon is a huge achievement.
The club he took over as well was great. Like they had like the hooligans beating up the players and the training ground and stuff like that.
He's only 40. And I think about managers like, say, Unai Emery and Eddie Howe. They're not managers who are going for the league, but the top managers, they're really good managers. And to think this guy's got all the answers to get Manchester United back to the top, and there's managers who aren't even going for the league. They're going for those Champions League positions who are probably more experienced. And right now, better managers than him. So a lot of top managers in the Premier League he's coming up against. So I think it's going to be tough for him to turn it around. Luke.
Yeah.
You've got arguably the best manager in the league, we'd say, when you think of what he's done in his career.
Below the worst.
Can he turn it round?
Well, at least he's in the Carabao Cup third round. That's the start.
That's the real quiz.
That's a well, yeah,
you've done that one a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm not nervous. I'm ready to go. It's 3 games in. We've had bad starts before. We've gone on to win the league, and it's been. The first game was good. I think everyone agreed. I've seen, you and Gary Neville put us maybe not to win the league, but up there after that first game. And that was one performance, and that just shows how reactionary we can be. We've had 2 losses since. The Tottenham one wasn't good. That was poor.
There's only one team to have lost 2 of the first 3 games and go on and win the league.
City in 1967-8, actually. They
did. Man United, the first time you ever won the league.
So that's Premier League.
Don't know.
That's wrong.
So on the radio.
I think it was, yeah.
I
think Everton beat you in
Everton.
City did it in 67-8, got 1 point after 3 games. So, yeah, maybe that's Premier League. But
Name the team.
Yeah.
Sorry, what City team?
Well... I'm not gonna say, I was -40 or whatever. So, yeah. Well, I'll tell you that we won the European Cup Winners' Cup 2 years later. We won the FA Cup the year after. I can tell you about that another time. That isn't, it's not History Channel, even if United and Liverpool are here. But it's
firing.
He's so rattled. He's so rattled.
Fire. I mean, he is on fire.
We'll talk about. If you want to talk about the game, or we can talk about 50 years ago. I don't mind.
You talk about what
we'll go for the game.
You brought up 50 years ago, by the way. You're the only one that brought it up.
Paul said at a start about United, which wasn't true. Anyway, we'll get onto the game. The Brighton game yesterday, I thought first half, they didn't have many ideas, to be fair. I thought we were decent. 1-0 up, Haaland had quite a few chances, didn't put them away in the start of the second half, and then the changes were really good from Brighton. They turned it on. We kind of just obviously gave away the penalty, lost 2-1. It felt a little bit like last season, but we're 3 games in. Like I said, 1 pre-season game. It's so early, like I said before, we've lost games before, not just in 1967, but also, 2021 against Tottenham, we went and lost to them away. We've had bad starts before, even in 2021 as well.
But this is a different, this team went on an unbelievably bad run last season as well.
Yeah, we also had a very good run at the end of the season. The last 19 games, we were top of the league in terms of points.
No, but you're not worried that could happen again?
I mean,
it's felt like Pep was going to go and then he stayed. And should he stay?
These people, no City fan out there is saying Pep out. You've got a manager there that in 5 seasons has won 4 league titles in a row. He's won a treble.
Doesn't matter though, does it? What's going on now?
But it does matter in the context of a manager's job. It does.
It doesn't matter well.
So if Fergie had won 3 leagues in a row and had 1 bad season, would United fans have been saying?
Fergie never lost 9 out of 11 games.
Well, but who's questioning Pep now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's people saying, maybe not on this show, but there's people out there in the media saying, is it time to question Pep? That's nonsense.
No one said that.
I think people have. Maybe
just
not
a question as well.
Maybe not anyone.
Is it time to question Pep?
No. Maybe not anyone of any importance, because that is just.
Where are you now? What's happening now? You see, it just doesn't seem. You're not the. You're not You're not the same. You're not as dominant. I don't think. Are you?
Yeah.
Where do you think that's coming from?
I do take your point, and it's coming from a lot of change at the club. We've changed both coaches. We've got Colo Torre, we've got Linders, obviously from Liverpool that you'll know about. We've changed a lot of players, obviously in January and the summer. And now we're changing, we're getting Donnarumma coming in for Ederson. There's so much blown around behind the scenes. I think having a 2-week...
I think that's a really strange signing for Pep.
It's strange. I didn't even...
Do you know what? I love the keeper. I think he's brilliant. And I'd have him at United tomorrow, today, whenever.
Yeah.
I think for 40 million quid, he's unbelievable. But for Pep has... You've got to almost be able to play central midfield as a goalkeeper for Pep. I just don't see... And I think that's the reason Enrique's getting rid of him at PSG as well, because he's not great with his feet. I just don't see it as I don't see him as a City goalkeeper.
I completely take what you're saying, and I think the fan base is a little bit divided on this one, because Ederson's done so well, done so much for the club, 6 league titles in 8 or 9 years, and he's a keeper that changed the game, like we all know. The way he plays with his feet, Guardiola said he's the best player with his feet that you can have in net, basically. So he has changed the game. Maybe it's his time to go. I think every City fan will respect what he's done. Trafford coming in with Ederson maybe a little bit ahead of him seemed to be the way to go. And then this Donnarumma stuff's just come up the last few weeks, and it seems to have happened now. I'm not sure. I think Arsenal fans would tell you about how good he was in that game against you last season. There was times when you could Donnarumma, it was almost guaranteed the ball had gone in the net, and he just pulled a save out of nowhere. So no one can doubt he's an unbelievable goalkeeper. How that's going to pan out, I have no idea. But it seems 30 million's cheap. We've got to back our players.
His wages won't be.
But do you think you could be about to change your whole style of play then? Could Pep about to go, because he does those crazy stuff.
That's the thing. You got to adapt. Pep said last season, and I know we talked about it last season, that the whole way of playing almost is a little bit outdated now. Some might say, with the way City were playing last season, quite rigid in the approach, and it didn't come off at times.
Do you think Pep Guardiola's approach is outdated?
No. I'm saying Pep said himself. Pep said himself that at times City weren't playing modern football. Modern football maybe is having 4 centre-backs at the back and playing that kind of approach. So I trust Pep Guardiola. He is the best manager in the world. We're 3 games in.
You know you had a great end to last season, and then you have the Club World Cup, and you lost the game there, I think, to the Saudi team, but on the counter-attack. Yeah. Yesterday, watching the game, it felt at 1-1 the goal was coming for Brighton, actually. Yeah. Normally that's you think City are going to go on and get it. Is there a worry that, as the lads have just mentioned, that there are signs of last season? And also, I was saying to Scholes before we came in, Pep or Man City, they normally find a way to win the game. Do you actually think you've got the quality in the wide areas? I look at your wingers, and I think of the wingers that you've had before under Pep, and they were brilliant players. Do you think there's the quality in those positions that can get you back to where you say, we've had a bad start, but in the past we've come back and won? Do you think there's quality there?
Yeah, I think if we had a Sané-Sterling situation with Haaland, he'd be getting a lot more goals. And we've got Oscar Bob, who's a young lad, last season very unlucky. I think they need more output. I don't think even they would deny it. The wingers need more output, they need more goals, they need more contributions going forward for Haaland, setting him up. I think we have sold the likes of Alvarez. That was one maybe we'd look back on him, but he was always going to go. He wanted to go. We got good money for him. We need more goals, and we need to stop.
Palmer as well.
Palmer as well, that's true. I mean...
Look, I'm a massive fan of Phil Foden.
Say it again, sorry.
I'm a massive fan of Phil Foden. Where's...
Unfit for the game. He was unfit for the game yesterday.
He's had like a funny 18 months, hasn't he?
Phil Foden, isn't it?
Pardon?
A lot of excuses made for Phil Foden over the years, like especially last season, when you look at De Bruyne was being edged out of the team and all these big players were moving on, you feel like that was a time for him to go, this is my team now, let me step forward. And he's just never...
Did have a lot of injuries.
Incredible talent, but he's just never really done it.
When you say unfit, do you mean he's injured or...?
I'm not sure, I just read on Twitter or whatever, he was unfit. So I'm not Pep, I don't know the exact details of that, but he wasn't available for
But do you not, when you look at, like Erling Haaland is not the typical Pep Guardiola striker, and then you've got Donnarumma, who's not the typical Pep Guardiola, like, where's this...
Are you saying they're getting ready for a new manager?
He's panicking.
What's he saying?
He's getting ready for a new manager.
I think Pep's got a 2-year deal left. I think he signed a 2-year deal last summer and was going to do at least 1 year. Pep's going to go at some point. He's been here 9 years. I think most people would have said he was going to do 3 or 4 when he came in, and he's probably tripled that, to be honest. So, yeah, you can't hide the fact that at some point Pep's going to go.
Do you know, with regard to that, like, just to have the conversation, and I appreciate because I'm a Chelsea fan, this is probably sort of conditioned within me. Because there is no doubt, regardless of how brilliant you think Pep Guardiola is, however high you rank him in the pantheon of great managers, Roman Abramovich last season would have sacked him, no doubt.
That's insane.
Do you think there's a... Well...
He wouldn't have sacked a manager.
Oh, he 100% would. He
Wouldn't have sacked him.
100% would. He sacked Carlo Ancelotti in the tunnel of Goodison Park off
That's
the back of
insanity.
winning the double. Like, there's no doubt in my
So
mind.
you got a manager that like, you can say you don't want to talk about as much as you want. Wins 4 league titles, a treble, a domestic treble, 100 points,
But he did it
and he has
for
one
Mourinho.
season where he comes third, and you're saying he's gone.
He would have been.
What does that even mean?
I'm not saying it's correct.
What
I'm
does
just
that mean?
saying. I'm not saying that Abramovich was making the correct call. I mean, history will probably tell you that he did because he went on to win every time he made a sacking. He would sack, impact manager, come in, win the league, or at least come close to it. I'm not saying that it would be right to sack him.
Okay.
But do you think that at any point, off the back of the nine defeats in 11 last year, the shaky starts of this year, some dodgy dealings in the transfer market, the cloud hanging over the club, do you think that perhaps there'll be a new direction?
Well, Abramovich sacked Jose, didn't he, 3 games into the season?
He sacked him off the back. We drew 1-1 with Rosenborg.
This is what I'm saying.
But the Ancelotti in the tunnel at Goodison Park was the one. You know, when you're like, just won a double.
As much as I'm maybe not saying people saying he should be sacked, we're all talking about it now, and that's what I'm saying is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. You can have a manager that has one pre-season game, has shown countless times. The COVID season, which obviously was one that wasn't the best of seasons to watch, obviously for fans and that. We were 13th or something after about eight games. We were points and points behind Tottenham, the teams at the top.
Pep has previous, though, for running when the pressure's on.
Say it again.
Pep has previous for running when the pressure's on.
For running when the pressure's on.
Yeah. Roberto Di Matteo sent him into sabbatical, didn't he? Roberto Di Matteo made him go crying.
Pep runs when
he running for them hills.
He
like
schooled
Kate Bush.
Ferguson twice at Barcelona in Champions League finals. Twice in Champions League finals with Barcelona.
He won
crying 6 Premier League titles, including 100 points. I've said it again. People don't digest these facts.
Just think about
100 points.
You let them get you, man. They're trying to do this to you.
They can if they
You know
want.
what? He started trying to tilt us, so now look at him.
I've never seen him so rattled.
I mean, it's
Is he saying rattled?
Pep Guardiola
You're
the greatest
sweating.
manager the Premier League's ever
He's the
seen.
greatest manager of all time. He
Oh,
is.
come on.
Bollocks.
Not even the greatest manager in the... He's not even the greatest manager in the city in the history of Manchester.
I'll just sit here now because it's...
He
I'm happy to do it all day, honestly. I'm happy to defend.
I'm with Luke a little bit. I think if you're a City fan, how can you not defend him
It's
to the
insane.
I know, but someone's got to say something. How could you not defend him to the hill?
It's
I
insane.
get it.
He is. He's an amazing manager,
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
Well done for fighting your corner. Rory.
Yes.
You always cause a lot of trouble here about other people's clubs. Where are we at with Chelsea?
I think it's exactly what we expected.
Yeah.
Exactly what we expected. I think we're now so much better than the chasing pack. Like this time last year, you would have compared us to Man United, Tottenham, Villa, whoever you thought that chasing pack were, and we were within that. We're now leaps and bounds above them, but not quite close enough to the top two. I think that Chelsea are clearly the third or fourth best team in the country.
Do you think? I mean, I always felt it'd be a top three with Chelsea closing that gap to make it a top four. Do you think Chelsea should be looking to get into that top three on the basis of what you've seen this season from your team and maybe, the top three?
I think in a dream world, that's exactly what we should be doing. I think that there is a slight vulnerability to the two teams that will compete for the league. I think Liverpool will win the league, but the two teams that will compete for it, I think there is a slight vulnerability. And if we were a little bit more ambitious in the transfer market, not in terms of spend, but in terms of the kind of players that we were signing, I think there is a world where we could launch a serious bid to win the league this year. But we haven't done that. We've got a fairly average goalkeeper, fairly average centre halves, and the money that we're spending isn't going in the place that we need it to go. So I think that what we have is enough to genuinely compete, to potentially win silverware, to definitely finish in the top 4 or 5, and not win the league.
Do you think that will ever change at Chelsea in terms of...
Not with its ownership.
Yeah, but that's what I feel, because I feel like every player they buy is really young. And listen, we all know you want to buy young players. That is, you can have them for a longer time. There's resale value.
But not exclusively.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, every signing, every single signing, you look at it, it's all about the sell-on value of the player. It's all about what the player could become. It's all about signing a very particular profile, which in terms of what they're trying to build is working. They're turning a huge profit. They're making a lot of money. But it isn't building the best team to win the league. Like, think back, I mean, there are countless examples in the Premier League history, but Thiago Silva, coming into Chelsea at 37 years old, won us the Champions League. Signed him from Paris Saint-Germain at 37. He was the fulcrum, the anchor that won us a European Cup. Michael Ballack arrived in his 30s. Manchester United constantly sign good players at a certain age, and we're just not going to do that. There's no experience in the team.
Do you think, I mean, because we've just been speaking to Luke about Donnarumma, do you think that's the type of signing Chelsea should
Not only because he's a brilliant goalkeeper, but surely we could do with that kind of experience, that kind of nous in the dressing room. Just somebody who knows what it takes to win silverware at the top level. There's just no experience, but they're not trying to do that. If you looked at the Chelsea squad, so for example, look at Liverpool as a template. Liverpool go, right, we've got an issue at centre-half, we need a bit of cover, let's go and sign England's best centre-half, bring him in. That's clear strategy to try and elevate the team. You look at Chelsea, you go, right, where do we need cover? You've got Colwell's injured, Fofana's perennially injured, you're playing Adebayo, you're playing Trevor Chalobah, who I love, but you could definitely elevate the options there. Let's go and sign Garnacho. You're like, wait, what? What are you doing? What are you doing? What on earth are you doing? You've got no centre-halves at the club. Why are you signing Garnacho? And the reason is obviously because if Garnacho's career goes as it might go, the goal at Goodison Park level of player, the performance in the FA Cup final level of player, Alejandro Garnacho gets sold to Barcelona for 125 million quid and we make a load of money on it. If it doesn't go well, he probably maintains his value. Like if it goes really badly, we sell him in a year, 18 months, probably for around about the same amount of money that we've paid. But it hasn't elevated our squad at all. We haven't improved on the team at all. So it's really frustrating because I think that we're on the precipice of something good. I think we've got a really good team. But they're just not trying to fill the holes of the squad.
I think you were, sorry, Jim, I think you've said it really well. I think they are almost best of the rest from the top 2 or 3, aren't they?
Yeah, we're in like a purgatory league of our own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you do need that investment. Now,
You need more investment.
No, they will invest, won't they? But they'll...
It's less money.
In the right areas.
Yeah, exactly. It's not... Like, Garnacho's been signed because if it goes well for him... I don't like him...
Good for you.
You do? Yeah. You think it's a good signing? Yeah. Do you know why I don't? I hate the attitude.
He's a knob.
I hate the attitude. Like, regardless, I can't believe that we've... Do you know all that, wearing a Rashford shirt when he was at Villa and...
you know what, a lot of them are knobs now, though, aren't they? Don't mean they're not going to be good at football.
Yeah, but there's a principle at stake.
Good point.
The principle. You don't need the disruptive force like that in the camp.
I don't think we're disruptive.
You know?
No.
Mate, I
hope he is, but I
hope you're right. But yeah, I'm not overly supportive of that signing, to be honest, because not only don't I really like the model, but I don't like Garnacho and what he represents.
Ben, I'm going to come to you. Before I ask you questions on Tottenham, someone's just come in me and they're going to have to do it again. Yeah. Because it sounds like Tottenham might have just signed someone. Muani, PSG. Is he on loan or is he assigned? What is it? On loan.
Right, okay. Well, there was a rumour going around that Solanke was left out of the team against Bournemouth on Saturday, and Frank came out after and said, oh, just be after the international break. There's been rumours going around that it's actually more serious than they thought, and I don't know whether they were just doing that to kind of protect their position in the market so they can go out and buy another striker. I think we were linked with Kyle Muani in January, and then he went to Juventus. I think he's a good fit as a number 9, and the problem is Richarlison's had a decent start to the season, although he was poor on Saturday. And Solanke had a really good start to last season but got injured in January. Those aren't really two strikers that you can 100% confidently rely on fitness-wise throughout the course of the season. So I think it makes sense to bring in a number 9. I still think we're short in a couple of areas, though. That's the only issue, really. And when you're kind of scrambling around on deadline day to maybe bring another winger in, Kolo Muani is someone that can play out wide as well, but I still feel like that's an area that, in the last 7 hours of the window that we need to fix.
Ben, this is your debut, isn't it?
I've been on it once before.
Oh, sorry. I normally welcome people on their debut, but I can't. I've seen you you're on TikTok, aren't you?
Yeah.
You on TikTok?
Yeah, someone puts my videos on for me. I don't do them, but sometimes I have a little scroll on there, and I've got your face, and you've got stuff going on behind you, and you're talking.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. He's been giving me.
I was going to say.
He's been giving me plenty of shit. I can assure you.
Not the other week.
That's why you know.
You speak said a lot of nice stuff about Tottenham last week.
Another Simon. Simon. Simon the Simons.
Yeah.
Xavi Simons, you've got him. It looked like he was going to go to Chelsea.
Yep.
He's come to Tottenham now to fill that creative spot, obviously, with Maddison injured. Excited by that?
Yeah, really exciting. I think it's one of the most exciting signings that we've made in my life supporting Spurs. Like, don't get me wrong, we've brought players that have gone on to do great things, but I don't think we've necessarily signed someone that has got that kind of superstar potential. It kind of fits in with what we're trying to do in terms of bringing in young players that, a little bit like you were saying, Rory, about Chelsea, maybe have that sell-on value further down the line, but are going to spend the best years of their time at your club. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we just bring him. He's on a 7-year contract on big wages, which is something that Tottenham don't really do, and that's been one of the frustrations about Levy and Enoch, is that we don't really pay the wages to attract those sort of players that are going to move the needle necessarily. So hopefully we can have him for the kind of duration of his peak, and he can go on to do really good things for us. It's like you said, it's filled a massive gap that we had in the squad. Madison ACL in pre-season, Kulusevski injured just before the end of last season, again told it was going to be a knock out until the new year. So we desperately needed that number 10. I think it's frustrating that we didn't get it over the line earlier. And obviously we tried with Gibbs White, tried with Eze as well. And I think you could argue that we've landed on the best signing out of the three that we could maybe make in terms of potential. Obviously Eze and Gibbs White are more Premier League proven quality to come in now and make the impact. And all three of those players can move the needle for Tottenham. But I think Simmons is the one really with that sort of superstar quality. But it remains to kind of be seen the impact that he's going to have.
I'd be interesting. I'm a huge fan of Thomas Frank. He made a brilliant start. But that type of signing, it's not something I always think about when I think of Thomas Frank at Brentford. And I think of when there was a kid from Liverpool, Carvalho, went there. He hasn't really quite done. He was that sort of type of player, like your sort of number 10. And Damsgaard, he's been really good at the start of this season, but I don't know if he was ever what I've imagined he would be at Brentford. So we know how Thomas Frank likes to play football, completely different to Ange, in that he'll adapt to different teams and play different ways and systems. How do you think he'll incorporate him into his style of football?
I think he's a really good fit, profile-wise, for that sort of number 10. Simmons likes to drop deep, get you on the ball, take you out of those difficult situations. Like we played against Bournemouth on Saturday, right? Their press was so aggressive, we couldn't really get out of that first phase because we didn't really have any sort of playmaker in there to get us up the pitch. They did a number on us, really. And I think if you have someone like Simmons in that game, or a Madison to kind of drop in and help you get up the pitch, that's what we're really kind of lacking. He's got that goal threat in the final third as well that Damsgaard had. He does the running as well, which is a massive thing that was kind of overlooked with Mikkel Damsgaard at Brentford in terms of the ground that he covers. So I think he does tick a lot of boxes. And I think for those games when you're playing in the Champions League as well, he just adds that sort of little bit of star quality onto it as well. So I think he's a good fit. But I get what you mean. It's like sometimes you think of Thomas Frank, especially at Brentford, is more functional, more kind of like we're going to win all our duels, win the second balls, all that kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily like a star player that you kind of associate with them. It's more about the team and making them kind of greater than the sum of their parts. But I do think he can do a lot of what Damsgaard did for Brentford for Spurs. That's what we've been missing maybe in the first few games. We did a number on City. I thought we were fantastic in that game. Super Cup against PSG, we did a number on them and were really good and unfortunate not to go over the line. I think we just tired and kind of their quality showed through in the end. Burnley, obviously, decent performance on the first game, but I think a lot of the issues that we knew we were going to have without kind of signing a player like that were there for everyone to see against Bournemouth on Saturday. So I think he can make a big difference.
Can I just ask you, because we speak about Man United a lot because they had such a poor season last season. We all say, what can Man United do this season?
Yeah.
But yous was similar. Yous obviously just beat them in the cup final. I know it was a big achievement. What is realistic for Tottenham? Where are you expecting your team to finish this season?
I think we can challenge for the Champions League places. I know people are going to say that's a big jump from 17th to 5th or 4th. It was an anomaly season, I think, last year. There was a lot that went wrong for us in terms of the injuries, but I think Ange kind of shot himself in the foot by a little bit like we were saying with Amorim, kind of sticking to that style of play. So I do think it was a little bit of a freak kind of one-off season for Spurs, and I do think Frank is going to make the floor of that squad a lot higher. I think that you're going to see Tottenham be a lot more consistent, and I think there is enough quality, like we saw in Ange's first season. A lot of the similar players were still there to challenge for those Champions League spaces. If we'd have beaten City in that game in Ange's first season, we would have got Champions League. But obviously, it didn't go that way, and Man City ended up winning the league at Arsenal's expense. So there was something to celebrate there still. But it was like that squad is much better than 17th, and I think Frank is that kind of natural floor raiser that's going to make you win a lot more games, be more consistent, adapt to the opponent as well, which is something that, as much as we loved Ange and are grateful for everything that he did last season by getting us over the line to win that trophy, unfortunately, I think. We're seeing it with Ruben Amorim right now. You're not going to be consistently successful and challenge for those bigger things, which is when you've got a chairman like Daniel Levy that's coming out and outlining the Premier League and Champions League as objectives. You just need to win more football matches to get closer to that. He also needs to do his job in the transfer market and back the manager. But I think I do think we can challenge for those Champions League spaces, certainly being in and around the European
beat by
spots.
Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, but we beat Man City away last week, and I think people are going to kind of write off that City game because, we always beat City. Frank did a number on Pep, and he outclassed him in that game, and we were full value for that win.
They've just lost to Brighton, haven't they?
Yeah, true, but PSG are the European champions. I know people are going to find any way to kind of pick at it because it's Tottenham, and they didn't have much of a pre-season because of the Club World Cup, but we were good. If you analyse those Tottenham performances, we were good in that game. Bournemouth, we were really bad, like really bad. There was a lot of teething problems still there. We're still only a few games into a new manager's reign. And I think the good thing about Frank, hopefully, is that I think, unlike last year maybe, and again, I don't want to be too critical of Ange after what he did, but you felt like Ange wasn't necessarily learning from what was going wrong, whereas I feel like Frank is the sort of manager to take what he saw on Saturday on board, and especially with a couple of new signings coming through the door to kind of reinvigorate that attack, like Simmons couldn't play on Saturday. I think he's going to learn from that and make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm not saying Spurs are going to be flawless, faultless. We're going to probably lose more games of football, but it's still the first season of a new manager, kind of with a lot of young players still. But I feel good. I do really feel good about Frank.
Joe, how are you feeling?
I'm just waiting for you to get some breaking news of something going on. That's pretty much
Listen,
it for
it's
me.
been a difficult start.
It has.
In terms of goal scoring. We know Isak's moved on. You want him out the door. You've got players in. I mean, Eddie Howe, Newcastle, new strikers coming in. Are you excited for the future, or have we seen the best of Newcastle under Eddie Howe?
I think, honestly, I mean, from the last time when I was on, obviously the whole Isak situation, there was a few different things that have developed since then, and now I'm in the mindset where I just want it done, dusted. I want that out of the way so we can concentrate on the season. We should be absolutely bouncing with some of the players that we have brought in, the likes of Malik Chow, Ramsey, Elanga, Visa hopefully being done today. Voldemade, he looks like he's going to be an absolute fantastic addition just due to his size. So I think overall, when you put all them together, it's starting to look like we can go in for a good season, because from the first 3 games, the main thing we've been missing is that finishing power. We haven't really had anyone to finish the goals. You know, like I said before, the Gareth Liverpool game, we had passion, and that's why we ended up going out and scoring a couple of goals. You know, we wanted to stick it to ears. That was given on the day. Leeds, yes, it hasn't been the best of the 3 games, without doubt. I'd probably say worst of the 3. But it's again missed that one big elephant in the room. We've got no striker. We've got no one to put the goals over the line. Asula's good, but he's not quite ready yet.
You said you're waiting for some breaking news today, but you were texting our producer saying you want Mainu from Man United.
So at this point, right, I expected maybe we are just going to end up losing out on Visa because of negotiations with Price. We're going to end up losing out on Strand Lawson, negotiations with Price, and we're probably going to end up going in and getting some, like, a midfielder to try and convert into a 9 like for Terry, or maybe he's even go try and get a loan to buy deal on Kobbie Mainoo just to fill some sort of gap. That was how I was starting to feel, and it was just because of the way our transfer window's been. It's been so up and down, up and down, up and down. We've put in bids and failed and this and that, and I think in the end everyone could see quite clearly that coming to this final day, Isak was pretty much going to be a done deal to Liverpool. So we need someone. We need someone else. We can't just go into this season with relying on, not with being in all the competitions, relying on what just Voltamedi and Asula. And Anthony Gordon, who for some reason can't play centre forward for Newcastle. Fantastic for England when he goes centre forward, but for some reason at Newcastle he just doesn't do the job. It's like a different player.
Can you make the Champions League positions, or can you challenge for the Champions League positions this season with the situation you find yourselves in?
I don't see why not. Honestly, I honestly think for Newcastle, the first season that we took the Champions League position, it was a real drive of we overperformed. We did not have any squad depth that first time we got them back. Now we've actually built on with squad depth. You know, we've got some good like-for-like substitutions happening, not likes of taking off Botman for Lascelles. No disrespect for Lascelles, he's played well for the club and done amazing, but that's a big depth drop off, like it really is. So and that's fixed now. That's fixed. So realistically, we can go out there and we can be that, you know, Eddie Howe, shithouse Mags, isn't it? We can rattle everyone and anyone, and it's weird that you can go out there and someone like Jacob Murphy can go out and rattle some of the best defenders in the world, and it's like, how's he able to do that? But that's the magic of Newcastle, and it's that Eddie Howe effect.
Dan, are West Ham fixed now?
No, we're back, baby. We're back. No, we're far from fixed. Look, we was much better. I see a lot of parallels with Graham Potter and Amorim, funny enough. Came in at a similar time. Had an awful...
Everyone's comparing to Amorim.
But it's true, they had an awful run-in. They both refused to play a talented youngster, Mainu, Freddie Potts. Difference is, Potter changed the system. Amorim hasn't changed the system. We look much better. We do look much better. But if you think after one really good win, I'm going to lose sight of the bigger picture, you're mad. Like, because in the grand scheme of things, we're not fixed. Because at the end of the day, there's still no long-term plan, no long-term structure. Wilson scored. I'm behind Wilson all the way. And I've had so many people coming up to me and saying, oh, look, you criticised the Wilson signing. Yeah, because the man's signing him. I will never, ever agree. Wilson could score 30 goals this season. You will never, ever...
You get a twisted ankle.
No, yeah, maybe. But it's I just want to plan a structure. I look at Brighton, Bournemouth now. I'm looking at these clubs, they just run properly. And for us, whenever we succeed, it's just pure luck. We stumble into it. Moyes, we signed him to keep us up. And it happened to work out.
Do you think Potter has the... Because obviously Potter's a good coach.
Obviously about that.
No, he is a good coach, but do you think he has the personality to be a West Ham manager? Because there always seems to be this added pressure with West Ham, whether it's the style of play that your fans want or once a few results go wrong, it's the end of the world. Like, do you think he's got the personality for it?
I'm Potter in, but that Wolves game, I really started to get worried. I saw him with his little notebook and his hands were shaking and I'm like, has he got it? Like, because we are... some people might say we're a hard fan base to please. That's how some people look at it. We just want a team that we recognise, that works hard on the pitch, that looks good. And a manager we can relate to. And I looked at him and I thought, he looks a bit weak. And I want him to succeed so bad. But, people are talking about a Jose. I don't know.
Would you have Jose Mourinho as the next West Ham manager?
If Potter's not going to work out, right? I would have Jose for the chaos. Like, if we're going to go and get a Dyche or a Cooper or any of these sort of managers, just give me a Jose. He's not going to play the best football.
He's going to burn the house down.
And he's going to, but this is it. Give me some chaos. Give me some chaos or something. You know what I mean? It'll be box office. That's what I want to see.
Sullivan.
And Mourinho Sullivan. Oh my God. Can you imagine the press conferences? Wow. Mourinho cooking that fraud. I would love it. Give me that. So, yeah, man. If it's, I'm open to it. But I want to kind of see where Potter can go now. Now he's making the right decisions, midfield sorted, Somerville back, pacey players, that's what I've been calling for. But like I said, we're never going to be fixed long term because we're not run like a proper football.
The Moyes situation.
Oh.
What was that?
And do they regret kind of forcing Moyes out the door?
Be careful what you wish for. Is that what you're saying? Do you know what? So many people have said that, right? And when people say that, and it says in the media, maybe they should have been careful what they wish for, it's like they've just blanked on the whole last season under Moyes, right? When these lot beat us 6-0, these lot beat us 5-0, Palace, 5-2. We was conceding...
Got 40 points that year. 40 points, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course he had to get sacked.
Yeah.
It's like the Postecoglou thing. Of course they were right to sack him. And the fans that were calling for his head were right.
We didn't even
They just didn't want Lopetegui. That was the
That's
issue.
the thing.
Yeah.
We didn't even end up sacking him because the contract coming, it was a mutual parting of ways. But I always said this, you cannot play boring crap football and concede multiple goals, record Premier League goals, and think that's fine and we're going to keep you. He done a really good job for a period of time, but it's not sustainable. We needed that sustainability. We just went, because we're not run like a proper football club, we went, he's available on a free, let's go get him. Instead of trying to go, maybe we can try and get Iraola.
So you don't think West Ham can ever be what you want them to be with the current ownership?
Never. We may have that odd season here and there where we'll go up, but there's no sense of, right, okay, here's how we build on it. Here's the structure, here's the plan. You need proper football people in place creating that plan.
So when you're talking about the structure, you're talking about maybe the structure at teams like a Bournemouth or a Brighton, Maz. You're the team or the club
that
other
clubs
look at and sort of want to,
Well, people question our model a lot because they're like, you can't keep selling and keep replacing. But I think we've shown it in the last 6 years. We're pretty good at it. Even this season, look at Gruder yesterday. He's a product of that great sort of talent and ID that we've got. So I feel like, it's great to be always brought up in those conversations of you're the great club that's been running, etc. But I do question sometimes. Is it money over success? Because you could argue, Palace fans are now going, what a trophy, and it's like, yeah, I can't say anything back. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm actually screwed. So yeah, it does get to a point where you've got to, prioritise having great players, keeping them, developing them, and yeah, it's great making loads of money out of them, but at the same time, you want to win things, and I think that's where you start struggling. And yeah, I suppose West Ham, yeah, they've had the successful seasons, but yeah, I agree. I think the ownership is. Yeah,
we're a sleeping giant. So if we had that, no offence, but I think we're a bigger club than Brighton. So if we had the Brighton structure,
right now?
Well, no, we're a bigger club. We're not a better club. We're not better.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you. Yeah,
we're a bigger club.
Yeah, what are we doing here? No, we're a small club. Yeah, no, I appreciate we're a small club in the sense of fan base, etc., etc. But on the pitch, we're up there with a.
Yeah, because of your structure and who you've got running it. So give that to West Ham. But why do you keep more of those players?
To Chelsea.
You can't just take that. What do you mean?
No, I'm saying.
You're give you Tony Bloom.
I'm talking about hypotheticals. I'm saying if we had that,
it's not our fault. You got a dodgy man.
We wouldn't be selling all of these players. We'd keep a lot more of our players than we would sell, and we would be up there. Like I said, I
think what it is as well, Tony Bloom, you can tell he's a fan. So he's a genuine fan of Brighton and Albion. And I think that's so key. Obviously, he's got great, he's got lots of money, and that's great. But he actually cares about the club. He loves the club. He's great at poker as well, which I don't know what relevance that has. But when it comes to business dealings, he knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like you can see an owner that cares, and an owner that's just there for the money. And
Sullivan has a claret suit, so I guess that.
Maz, what about yesterday? I mean, you beat Man City. You beat them, I think, last season. I think the manager's record against Man City is fantastic.
Yeah, 4 points last season and 3 this season.
Yeah, go on. I mean, talk to us about the manager, because, they had a great season last season. So you've actually made a great start. I watched you play against Everton. I mean, you've battered Everton, really, but couldn't get across the line and they lost the game. But you've had a really good start in terms of performance.
Yeah, well, 1 point after the first 2 games, which was a bit sticky. A lot of people were questioning Hurzeler, his tactics, his substitutions, all that kind of stuff. But then obviously yesterday, making those 4 substitutions was a big, brave move. In that time of the game, we looked really lethargic. I thought we got it wrong in a couple of Gomez starting behind Welbeck. I thought that was the wrong decision. But then when it got to the 60th minute, wherever it was, to make those 4 substitutions shows that, he's got something about him. He's got the bottle to do it, first of all, and he made the right choices. O'Reilly, obviously, started the first 2 games. He wasn't even part of that 4 substitution. So, it felt like he sort of realised that Gruder was the right option, brought him on, and he ended up getting the winner. And I feel like Hurzeler, in that moment, made the right choices at the right time, and I think that's what we've been crying out, is sometimes we question his substitutions. Is he the right guy? He's still very young. I think he's 32. It's crazy. Rocking the outfit yesterday as well. I love that.
I feel too, to be managing in the Premier League and having Pep's number 4 time.
Yeah.
That's pretty special, isn't it?
No, 100%. I think that's what you see. And I know you probably won't agree. But yeah, I feel like you can see he's got the makings of being a great manager. He's still struggling now, but you know what I mean? How's things?
I don't think it was 4 times anyway. But...
4 times? No, we beat you twice last season.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
4, is it?
Once and a point.
Yeah, it's not 4 times, is it?
Oh, hold on. He's unbeaten in the last 3, innit?
I'm just ready to name the 68 squad if anyone wants to.
Let's go out with that, Luke.
Joe Corrigan, Mike Doyle, Francis Lee, Tony Buck. I'll go Colin Bell, Summerby. There's 6 for you anyway.
That's You only needed 6 players to do that. Listen, thank you everybody for another edition of the Fan Debate, brought to you by Sky Bet, and we'll see you next time.